She didn't even flinch. "Sit by the trash where you deserve," my girlfriend said, right in front of everyone. I remember the way her eyes slid past me, bored. Not a hint of embarrassment. Just another night, another put down. Her friends smirked behind their drinks. One nudged the other, and the only sound was a fork clinking against a cheap plate. I stood for a second. Not angry, just quiet. The garbage bag by the kitchen door was half open, pizza crusts, takeout boxes, soda cans. That's where she pointed. That's where she thought I belonged. I could have said something. Instead, I watched her swipe my debit card off the counter, tuck it into her purse, and keep talking about her big plans. Her new car, her next trip, her brand. All stuff I'd help pay for. She'd say, "Just this once, babe." Or, "You're the only one who understands me." Always with a laugh, always like I was in on some joke. But I wasn't. That night, I realized I'd just been the punchline. I walked over to the door. My jacket, the same one she always called basic, hung there like it was waiting for me. I put it on. No one stopped me. Not her, not the friends. Not even a glance. 3 flights of stairs, same as always. I could hear them laughing as I left, like nothing had changed. The air outside was thick with summer rain. No ride, no umbrella, nothing in my pockets but an old receipt and my phone. You ever feel lighter the second you leave a room, even if you don't know where you're going next? I didn't look back. I didn't need to. But I did wonder one thing. Do you know the exact moment you stop belonging to someone and start belonging to yourself? I left with nothing but silence. But I didn't forget. I spent that first night at my buddy's place. He handed me a blanket, didn't ask questions. That's the thing about real friends. They don't need the story right away. I lay awake, staring at a ceiling I didn't recognize, phone buzzing every so often with Cash App requests I'd stopped answering. I didn't text her, didn't scroll through old photos. I just listened to the rain hitting the window, thought about how long I'd been funding her life, how it always felt like I was auditioning for a role I was never going to get. Next morning, I checked my account. Negative $43. No surprise. She never even tried to hide it, really. "It's just easier if I handle the money, babe." I remembered her words. If you loved me, you'd help me. If you were a real man, you'd want to provide. But it was never enough. There was always another bill, another dream, another excuse. She used to call me her safety net. Said it with a smile. But even safety nets snap when the weight's too much. I showered, put on yesterday's clothes, and walked to work. My boss nodded, didn't say much. I clocked in. Shelves to stock, boxes to move. Same routine, just a little heavier that day. My phone buzzed again. Her. "Can you send $200? Emergency. I'll pay you back." I turned it off. Shoved it deep in my locker. On my break, I watched her story. Brunch with friends. New shoes. Something about working hard, playing harder. No sign of me. No mention. Just her, laughing, living it up. I went back to work, head down. But something was different this time. There was no urge to explain myself. No ache to go back. Just a weird kind of calm, like I'd finally stepped outside of the joke. You ever realize you've been holding up someone else's life, while yours quietly faded into the background? That's the moment I knew I was done playing along. A few days went by. No calls from her, just the usual notifications. Her tagging me in posts about real loyalty, group selfies at places I'd never been invited. I went to work. I ate dinner with my buddy and his girlfriend, who didn't say much but passed me the salt like I'd always been at that table. That night, lying on the couch, I checked my bank again. She'd overdraft me twice for shoes and some delivery order. The bank fees stung, but not as much as knowing she didn't even hesitate. I tried to distract myself, streaming a show, scrolling aimlessly, reading old texts I should have deleted months ago. One stood out. "You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Don't ever leave." The same week she called me a free Uber in front of her friends. I started to wonder if any of it was ever real. By Friday, the request stopped. She didn't ask for money, didn't tag me in anything. But I started getting texts from mutual friends. "Hey man, you good? She's saying you left her with nothing. Did you really cancel the rent transfer?" I hadn't. My account was empty, but apparently hers was worse. Then I saw her go live, face half done, ranting about fake people, about being abandoned, about how some people are only useful when they're paying. Her voice cracked. She didn't notice. The comments weren't what she expected. People asking about the shoes, the parties, the trips. Someone posted, "Maybe try working for it yourself." I didn't comment, didn't send a message. Just watched in silence as the likes dropped off and the comments changed from fire emojis to question marks. It's strange how quickly people turn when the free ride ends. Ever notice how the loudest ones in the room get quiet the second nobody's listening? That night, I shut my phone off and slept deeper than I had in months. Saturday morning, I woke up to a string of missed calls. Her number, then her best friend's, then unknown. No voicemails, just hang-ups. I made coffee in my buddy's tiny kitchen, sunlight cutting across the counter. For the first time in a while, I actually tasted it. At work, my boss pulled me aside. "You all right?" I nodded. He just said, "You seem different." More here. Maybe I was. On my lunch break, I checked social. She'd deleted almost every photo of us. Her feed looked empty, like she was erasing history in real time. I saw a post, leveling up. No time for dead weight. Hundreds of likes, but not a single comment from the people who used to hype her up. It was weirdly quiet. A friend DM'd me a screenshot. Her name was trending in a local group. Something about a bounce payment for an event she'd organized. Turns out the brand she'd always talked about was just a collection of invoices, all unpaid. She'd used my card for deposits. My name on some of the receipts. But I'd already canceled that card. No warning, no announcement. Just one less open tab for her to drain. A message popped up from her. "I need you. Please call me. It's serious." For a second, I almost did. Then I thought about every time she told me, "You're lucky to be with me." Every laugh at my expense. I turned the phone over and went back to work. You ever watch someone try to rebuild a castle out of sand? Right after the tide comes in? That afternoon, as I stocked shelves, I realized something. Silence isn't empty. Sometimes it's a door closing for good. And for the first time, I was fine with that. Sunday felt almost normal. I woke up early, took a walk around the block, just breathing in the quiet. No texts, no requests, just the low hum of a day that didn't need me to rescue anyone. My buddy's girlfriend asked if I wanted eggs. I said yes. We ate together, talking about nothing, weather, a neighbor's dog, some new movie. I laughed without thinking, and it felt honest. I checked my phone out of habit. 3 messages from her, 1 long voice note. I played it once, just to see. Her voice sounded different. First, she tried to sound angry. "How could you just leave like that? You made promises." Then she switched to pleading. "I'm really in trouble. I can't pay my rent. I know I took too much, but I just need help this one last time." Last, her voice got cold. "If you ever cared, you'd pick up. If not, I'll figure it out myself." I always do. I deleted the message. Not out of spite, just peace. I felt lighter. Later that day, a mutual friend texted. "She's telling everyone you ruined her, that you drained her accounts, that you left her with nothing." I just replied. I left with exactly what I brought myself. By afternoon, I walked past her old apartment building. Her car was gone. Someone new was moving in. I didn't stop, didn't stare. Just kept walking, hands in my pockets, the air cool and sharp. You ever realize that letting go doesn't mean losing? Sometimes, it's just the first time you get to keep something for yourself. That night, as I turned out the light in my borrowed room, I didn't wish for her to call. Didn't hope for an apology. I just closed my eyes and thought, this is what it feels like to finally be out from under. Monday rolled around, and the world kept turning. I was up before sunrise, showered, dressed, and out the door before my buddy's alarm even went off. The air had that crisp, early morning chill that makes you feel awake, like anything could happen. Walking to work, I noticed things I hadn't in months. The coffee shop on the corner had repainted. Someone's kid had drawn smiley faces in sidewalk chalk. Even the city felt different, like I'd come up for air after months underwater. At work, I fell into a rhythm. lifting boxes, cracking jokes with the guys in the back, actually listening when a customer asked for help. My boss nodded when he saw me. He didn't need to say it, but I could tell he was glad I'd shown up, not just clocked in, but really there. By lunch, I realized my phone hadn't buzzed once. No requests, no guilt trips, no emergencies that only I could solve. I checked her social just out of habit. She'd blocked me. Her profile was scrubbed clean, no parties, no travel pics, no thank yous. Just a few cryptic posts about starting over and real friends. Later, as I was loading up the stockroom, one of her old friends walked in. She looked at me, surprised. "Didn't think you'd still be here," she said, like maybe I was supposed to disappear once I stopped paying for everyone else. "I'm still here," I said. "Better than before, actually." She looked away, uncomfortable. She started to say something, then just shook her head and left. I watched her go, realizing I didn't owe anyone an explanation. Not anymore. You ever wonder how much of your life is yours, and how much you gave away to someone who never said thank you? After work, I walked home slow, letting the day stretch out. No rush, no errands, just time that was finally my own. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't need to check my phone to know everything was okay. Tuesday brought a strange calm, almost unfamiliar. I got up early and took a long walk through the city, past the old diner, the barber shop where everyone knew my name, the basketball court where I'd wasted entire summers. The world didn't care who I was to her. Out here, I was just another guy with a job and a future. On my break at work, my phone buzzed for the first time all day. It was a message from a number I didn't recognize. It was her. She used a friend's phone. The message was short. "I made mistakes. I lost a lot. Please talk to me." I didn't answer. I just set the phone down and stared at the floor for a while, thinking about all the ways I tried to patch things up, all the ways I twisted myself just to make things easy for her. For years, I'd been the guy who fixed everything. If she cried, I sent money. If she failed, I took the blame. If she needed a ride, I dropped what I was doing. I'd made myself so small, just to fit in the background of her life. Now I was finally out of that picture, and I didn't want to go back. That evening, I stopped by my mom's place for dinner. She looked at me a long time. "You look better," she said. "Lighter." I shrugged. "Just tired of carrying everyone else." She nodded and passed the potatoes. We talked about work, life, nothing heavy. When I left, she hugged me tighter than usual. As I walked home, the city lights flickered. I felt the old ache trying to creep back in, the urge to apologize for things I never did, to pick up broken pieces that weren't mine. But I kept walking. You ever finally see the difference between who you are and who you let someone turn you into? I didn't need a new beginning. I just needed to remember my own worth. The week ended quiet, almost peaceful. I walked to work every day, not because I had to, but because I wanted the time to think. My thoughts weren't tangled up in what-ifs anymore. For the first time in years, I was living in my own skin, not someone else's story. News traveled fast in our small town. People stopped asking where she was, or what happened to us. One afternoon, my old phone pinged, a notification from a bank. I checked the message, half expecting another overdraft notice, but it was different. Account balance, $0. No debts, no transfers, no more withdrawals by anyone but me. I'd finally changed every password, closed every joint account, called the credit card companies and the bank. Told them everything. Blocked her number, her friends, even the landlord who used to call me for rent when she disappeared for a weekend. And that was it. No fireworks. No dramatic scenes. Just freedom. I realized revenge doesn't always mean getting even. Sometimes it's just about getting back what you lost, your voice, your time, your self-respect. I heard she moved back in with her cousin. The brand she bragged about? It dissolved. Vendors wanted payment. Friends wanted their things returned. She tried to start over, but the people who'd crowded around when the money was easy suddenly had their own problems. I saw her once, across the street, her hair pulled back, head down. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did. She just kept walking. That night, I went to a small bar with a few real friends. We talked about everything except the past. We laughed, made plans for a road trip, split the check right down the middle. As I walked home, the air was cool and sharp. Every street light felt like a marker on a road I'd finally chosen for myself. You ever notice how quiet life gets when you stop chasing noise that was never meant for you? At home, I sat on the edge of my borrowed bed, shoes off, heart steady. I pulled out my phone, deleted every message I'd saved just in case. Then I called my mom, just to talk, just because I wanted to. I didn't need her apology. I didn't need her mess. I just needed to remember I was always enough, even when someone else tried to make me feel disposable. And with that, I finally let it all go.